Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy for Civil Services. The theme of the day, World Health Day. Every year, 7th of April, World Health Day was observed. The world comes together to raise awareness about improving the better health condition and overall well-being of the people across the globe. So every year they used to observe one theme. This year theme, Health for All. A little bit information related to the World Health Day. The inception of World Health Day can be traced back to the foundation day of the World Health Organization. 7th of April 1948, the World Health Organization was founded. Observing that only, World Health Day is celebrated to commemorate the foundation of the World Health Organization. So, as I told you, many organizations and institutions used to create campaigns and organize events to promote good health by setting up health camps in offices, schools, colleges, and other institutes or any places. Through these health camps, essential information on basic hygiene, common health issues, about their symptoms and treatment, healthy eating habits, and other health related issues are discussed to improve the quality of the health. So, now let us go back to the Hindu analysis of the day. The first article we are going to discuss about if governor withholds his node, it means bill is dead. What exactly the context here? In recent times, there is a lot of power tussle between the governor as well as the chief minister of the state. In this particular article, Tamil Nadu governor said if governor withholds his assent to a bill passed by the assembly of the state, it means the bill is dead. And governor mentioned Supreme Court defined withholding assent means bill is dead. It is decent language used instead of reject. That is the context. What exactly the governor is stating here? The three important provisions that we need to understand as per Article 200. So, governor explained under the Article 200 there are three options to give assent. Any bill which is passed by the Legislative Assembly which is presented in front of the governor means governor entitled with three important options. The first option is he can give his assent. The second option is that withhold the assent. Third one regarding reserve the bill for the president. So we must understand about what is this Article 200 which is given by the Constitution. In case the bill passed by the Legislative Assembly is not a money bill, can be returned to reconsideration by the governor and governor may suggest some changes. The House reconsider as suggested if it is passed again or without changes, again it is presented in front of the governor for the assent means shall not withdraw the assent. In case it's money bill, it can't be returned. He will give his assent or withhold or reserve the particular bill to the president in rare case. So I'm going to give you a brief information related to the article. Particularly, we must understand about the governor role in approving a bill. This comes under your general studies too. GS2, Indian polity, function and responsibilities of the union and states. Whenever executing the functions of executives in the union as well as the state, many issues and challenges are pertaining. So based on that only we are going to discuss this. So role of governor, he is the head of a state as a political narrative and constitutional narrative and complete narrative of governance in the state. That is the role. So is the head of the state as the representative of the central government. Article 153 of the Constitution, which provide the provisions, the state that shall be a governor for each. The governor act in dual capacity, which means the constitutional head of the state as the representative of the center. So what we can clearly understand is the governor used to act as a bridge between center and the states. So as I told you, Article 200 in terms of in case it's not a money bill, in case it's a money bill, how he can hold the power. So what happens when the president consider the bill? There is no time frame for acting on the bill. That comes under Article 201 says when a bill is reserved by a governor for his consideration, the president shall declare either that he assents to the bill or that he withhold assent thereupon. So if you take importance of the power disputes happening between the governor as well as the state, in recent times also there was a case filled in the Supreme Court of India by Telangana State Chief Minister that around 14 bills passed by the Legislative Assembly was pending in the assent of governor. So, lot of disputes are happening related to the governor's power in terms of discretionary. So now, does the governor have any discretion in this regard? Section 75 of the Government of India Act 1935 contained the word name called discretion, referring to the governor's grant of assent to the bills. The particular phrase was consciously omitted when Article 175 of the Indian Constitution, later renumbered as a present Article 200. So, present Article 200 that was enacted. So the commentators generally agree that governor who normally functions on the aid and advice of the councils of ministers. So the governor is bound to go by the advice and matter of granting the assent. It may seem unusual to say the governor should act on ministerial advice even when withholding assent and returning a bill for reconsideration. So, if you see the Constituent Assembly debate, which clearly shows that this was indeed what the framers of the Constitution intended. It was explained on behalf of the drafting committee that there may be a situation when the councils of ministers feel that a bill has been adopted for that it requires change. So you need to analyze a little bit on your own related to the powers and functions of the governor of the state and go through the previous year what all the disputes happened between governor as well as the respective chief minister of the state. Next article it is related to online platforms must take down PIB flagged fake news. So here the online platform must take down PIB, press information flagged fake news. This particular topic comes under your two general studies paper, GS2 and GS3. The topic in GS2, government policies and interventions. In GS3, it comes under role of media and its interventions. particularly social security challenges. So in this article, we need to know about exact the context. See, social media platforms and other intermediaries. Social media platforms and other intermediaries on the internet are now required to make sure that fake news articles about the government, which is fake news article about the government, deemed and declared by Press Information Bureau, taken down from their platform, because there are changes happened under the notification of information technology intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code, which was amendment rules 2023 as per amending IT rules 2021. So what is mean by this fake news? This fake news referred to as those news stories that are fake, fabricated with no verifiable factors. So many types of fake news are there nowadays, like misleading content, imposter content, false and manipulated content. So laws so far to control this particular fake news in India. The first one is about IT Act 2008. Offense related to any kind of electronic communication that punished under Section 66D of Information Technology Act. Second one is about Disaster Management Act of 2008. So whoever leaks or circulates a false alarm warning as to disaster that leads to the panic to the public comes under the punishment. That comes under your DM Act 2008. Then Indian Penal Code 1860. Fake news creates false alarm in public that creating the riots and the particular information causing the defamation shall be punishable. These are all the laws so far that India is following. Now, as per this particular article, we must understand about information technology, intermediary guidelines, and digital media ethics code amendment rules 2023, that amending IT rules of 2021. So, information technology, intermediary guidelines, and digital media ethics code amendment rules of 2023, which is amending the IT rules of 2021. So this particular amendment rules deals with the issues relating to the SMI. SMIs means social media intermediaries. Social media intermediaries. They aim to ensure open, safe, and trusted internet. The amendment rules to the IT 2021 to regulating the online real money games. Even one more article also focused related to the same here. Whatever it may be, the news which is considered as the fake, deemed or claimed by PIB, Press Information Bureau, that has to be removed. So that particular intermediaries are the responsible to remove it. That is the exact content of this particular article. Go through what are all the fake news, why these issues arise, and just give some kind of focus on the rules which amended in the year of 2023 as well. That's all about this article. Let us see the next one. Pause not pivot says thus after RBI holds policy rate at 6.5%. This is again interesting topic because the Reserve Bank of India holds the policy rate at 6.5 percentage. So MPC, Monetary Policy Committee of Reserve Bank of India, anonymously decided to keep the repo rate unchanged at 6.5 percentage. So let us have a look of this particular topic. This topic comes under your General Studies 3 topic Indian economy. So first you need to understand what is repo rate. The repo rate is the rate which the central bank, in case of India, it is Reserve Bank of India. So RBI lends money to the commercial banks. In the event of any shortfall of funds, this is exactly known as the repo rate. Repo rate is the rate which the central bank of a country lends money to commercial banks in the eve of any shortfall of funds. So this particular holding the policy rate, keeping the inflation in mind. So what exactly this article is stating about? So this committee formed under 6 members. They voted keep this particular policy focused on withdrawal of accommodation to ensure that inflation progressively with the target while supporting the growth. So the repo rate now hold to 6.5 percentage by 25 basis point. So we need to understand this particular base point also referred a measurement used in the finance to express rate of change in an index. So this repo rate works here in terms of borrowing the money from RBI during a cash crunch on which they are required to pay interest to the central bank. That particular interest rate is called the repo rate. So we need to have a little bit of brief related to the inflation. What is mean by inflation? The inflation is considered the rate of increase over a given period of time. The rate of increase over a given period of time. And what is the monetary policy? Monetary policy means it refers to the policy of central bank with regard to use of the monetary instruments. The use of the monetary instruments. Now, what is meant by this MPC? Monetary Policy Committee. Remember, the monetary policy maintains the price stability while keeping in mind the objective of growth. Section 45 is it B. Section 45 is it B, which amended in the year of 2016 under RBI Act of 1934. So central government is empowered to form 6-member committee which is known as Monetary Policy Committee. So this particular committee determined the policy rates required to achieve their inflation target. So the composition of this particular committee, RBI governor, ex officio chairperson, and deputy governor in charge of the monetary policy, 3 persons appointed by the government, and officer of the bank, one person nominated by the RBI itself. So these are all the composition. So the basic information and also the context in the news I explained here. What you need to give a little bit of attention is what in case the repo rate stays on the same percentage, what impact will happen, whether it is going to be good or bad in terms of handling the inflation. So just have a brief related to that from your own. Next article. So, Ministry of Home Affairs recommends CBI probe against Oxfam India for FCRA violations. FCRA violations. See, this particular news, the Union Ministry recommended an investigation by the CBI into the alleged violations of FCRA provisions by the Oxfam India. This is the exact context in the news. What are all the information that we need to gather? See, FCRA registration of Oxfam India that enabled it to receive foreign funds was not renewed by the ministry in the 2021. Renewed by the ministry in 2021. Continued. So the valid till December 31st, 2021. Continued of transfer by the Oxfam foreign funds to various entities even after the FCRA 2020 regulations. This particular regulation prohibits such transfers when came into force. The amendment came into force 29/2020. The Oxfam India transferred funds to the NGO, which is violating the provisions of the FCRA. That is the context of the news. We need to know what is this Oxfam India. It is one of the largest non-governmental organization working on food, shelter, and education of vulnerable groups. So now, what is mean by this Foreign Contribution Regulating Act? Why it is important in terms of receiving the funds from the outside? Because foreign contributions, like from the outside, so what is the importance? See, Foreign Contribution Regulating Act. So the ministry wanted to focus on curtailing some kind of fund transfers from outside to India. The FCRA background is it was enacted during the emergency time period in the year of 1976. The background of this in the year of 1976. So when there was an atmosphere, apprehension that foreign powers were interfering in the India's affairs by pumping in funds through independent organizations. So that is the time this FCRA came into existence. The law sought to regulate foreign donations to the individuals and associations so that they functioned in a manner it can be consistent with the value of the sovereign democratic republic. So what is the objective of this FCRA? It requires every person, individuals or NGO wishing to receive foreign donation that has to be registered under this FCRA Act. So they need to open a bank account for receipt of foreign funds and to utilize those funds only for the purpose which they have been received. So for example, if they want to give kind of shelter to some downtrodden people here in India, then only for that purpose the received fund should be spent. This is one of the provisions comes under the FCRA and is also considered to be the objective. The act prohibits receipt of foreign funds by the candidates. Remember, receipt of foreign funds by the candidates for elections, for journalists or newspaper and media broadcast companies, because all this leads to ethical issues and yellow journalism in the news areas. So the act clearly prohibits this. So it was amended in the year of 2010 to consolidate the law on the utilization of foreign funds and to prohibit their use for any activities detrimental to the national interest. The law was amended again by the current government in 2020, giving the government tighter control and scrutiny over the receipts and utilization of foreign funds by the NGOs. So, what exactly changes happened in the year of 2020? Again, it got amended. So, as I told you, 2020 again it got amended. What are all the changes happened in under this amendment? So, it allows all the Indians to receive up to 10 lakh annually from their relatives abroad under FCRA. How much? Allow Indians to receive up to 10 lakh annually from their relatives abroad under FCRA. So the limit earlier was rupees 1 lakh. So if the amount exceeds, the individual will now have 90 days to inform the government instead of 30 days earlier. Though it was extended to how many days? 90 days. Earlier it was only 30 days and the limit is 1 lakh. And it has given individuals and organizations or NGOs 45 days for the application of obtaining registration or prior permission under the FCRA to receive the funds. They need to get permission before 45 days. Earlier it was 30 days, but it was increased to 45 days. They need to receive the permission to get the permission to receive the funds. So, organizations receiving foreign funds will not be able to use more than 20 percentage of such funds for administrative purposes. The limit was 50 percentage before 2020. Okay, the limit was 50 percentage before 2020, but now will not be able to use more than 20 percentage of such funds for administrative purpose. So made five more offences under the FCRA compoundable offences, making 12. Instead of directly prosecuting the organization or individuals, now it has been changed. FCRA compoundable offences. Simple, under the compoundable offences are those offences where the complaint, one who has filled the case, that is the victim, enter into a compromise and agrees to have the charges dropped against the accused. That is known as compoundable offences. So, as per this, enhancement of the remittances, stabilizing the forex reserves, reduces the trade deficit. That is the intention of doing some changes in the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2022 amended. Whatever the provisions here, it was not followed by the Oxfam, and there was a renewal. That is the complaint is all about. Even the Oxfam also went to the court and they were like, filled the petition related to the same. See, what exactly they say? Oxfam India said in a statement that is it is fully compliant with Indian laws. We are not at all, go out of the law. We are completely following the laws, and the agency also went to the High Court, asked to respond to our plea. What is that plea? Oxfam has moved petition in the Delhi High Court against the ministry's decision to not renew its FCRA regulations. So, to not renew the FCRA regulations. So, they moved the court. Let us see what is going to happen. So, next article of the day. So, the four important article you can read and also collect information in brief so that it is easy for you to remember, because all these kind of articles you can see frequently in the news. That is the intention of explaining it in clear. So I'll give you the brief. What are all the other topics that you can read for the day, and which comes under which general studies. Yes. Open justice. Supreme Court strikes a blow for both media freedom and fair procedure. Yesterday I mentioned you a read related to the media one, curbing the ban, which means media one started going air from yesterday. So as I told you, this article is also very important for your preparation, because this article is stating about lifting the ban on the media. See, the Supreme Court quashed the union government telecast ban on Malayalam news channel Media One. The matter pertains to the centre's January 31st directive revoking the license of news channel and banning its telecast on security grounds. This topic comes under your GS2 polity and governance. So just make sure that you are read this topic, know the background of the case, and aware about what is the summary and what exactly the key highlight of the judgment. See, the center action amount to restricting the freedom of the press. Supreme Court refused to accept the government's national security argument. Sealed cover proceedings go against the principles of natural justice. The judgment divides the public interest immunity claim procedure. So these are all the four major areas that you need to focus in this open justice article. So next one is about substance subtext. Bhutan King's India's visit sought to enhance cooperation and allay fears. About the visit of Bhutan king to India. So just have a look. It comes under your general studies to international relations. And read this, you will get a brief idea related to what exactly the relationship intact between India and Bhutan. So government node for space policy, private players to set gain. So the government approved the Indian Space Policy 2023. This particular space policy, the intention of our government to institutionalize the private sector participation in the space sector. So now the ISRO focusing on the research and development, advanced the space technology, right? So we need to start giving more hands to the private players to get into this space technology. So approved by the Cabinet Committee on Security, roles and responsibilities of the ISRO and the space sector NSIL and Indian National Space Promotion Authorization Center. So now how the space policy is going to help to engage more private players into the space. This comes under your general studies 2 and 3, policy and interventions and space technology, science and technology. Government releases pre-draft to National Curriculum Framework for Schools. So the Education Ministry puts out documents seeking feedback from the various stakeholders. Recommendations including modular board exams instead of single exam at year end for class 11 and 12, and basing results in cumulative score. It is very important topic, comes under your GS 1 and 2. Okay, policy interventions as well as the society. So pre-draft version of the National Curriculum Framework. About stakeholders here, including the students, parents, teachers, teacher educators, experts, scholars, and professionals. Instead of going for the year-long one particular examination, why can't we go with the different stages of the examination? For that particular purpose, the curriculum framework has to be reframed. For that purpose, now the government releases the pre-draft notification. So all these stakeholders can give their feedback. Based on that, definitely they'll take a decision. Apart from that, you can read this government tweaks gas pricing norms, CNG, PNG prices to come down. Okay, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs revised the natural gas pricing pricing guidelines for gas produced in the country where PSC, production sharing contract. You just have a look of this article because it is connected with your space policy as well. So that's all for the today. Whatever the topic in brief, and just have a look of those topics and have your own notes based on the line which I explained. And remaining the selective topics, just read it under the different general studies and have the own perspective of your side as well. See you tomorrow. Good day. Thank you.